Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
Here's the Sixers stat line. All right, James Harden, 24 points, 15 assists, 5 for 10 from 3, 6 for 13 from the field. It doesn't look like a bad game for James Harden. That looks like a very efficient game from James Harden. But James Harden in the fourth quarter absolutely burned out. James Harden burned out in the fourth quarter. Most of these stats right here for James Harden came in the first 2.5 quarters. By the fourth quarter, when we really needed something to happen, when we really needed a player to, step up and bring us back, when we were fighting, I'll give it to us, we were fighting in the fourth quarter, fighting with the Oklahoma City Thunder, which should be sad. But we were fighting in the fourth quarter, I'm sorry. We cut the lead down to, I think, 6 at one point. And James Harden got the ball a couple of times in a couple situations where we really could have used a big bucket. And, man, he was just burned out. At one point, he shot a wide open 3 that really would have closed the gap. And he shanked it off the side of the rim. And then he had it wide open on the next possession, and he passed it back to Tyrese Maxey. He didn't even want to shoot it because he was gassed. Gassed. Look at the minutes again for James Harden, 36. He's gassed. Remember the overtime game where he missed 2 free throws in a row? And he said in that press conference, I was tired. He's leading the NBA in minutes per game. James Harden is leading the NBA in minutes per game. He's 33 years old and just spent a whole offseason trying to get back in shape after 2 years of rehabbing a hamstring. And he's leading the NBA in minutes per game. Doc Rivers is a war criminal at this point. So James Harden, stat-wise, when you look at this box score, it was a pretty good game. For the first half, I thought he was balling. The first quarter, I think he had 9 points in the first quarter. I thought maybe we were going to get a 40-piece from James, but it seems like a trend now that he starts out hot. He has a lot of energy, a lot of bounciness, a lot of spring, a lot of quickness off the ball. His first step's quick and everything for the first 2.5 quarters. Then he burns out, man. And is that James Harden's fault? No. It's the fact that for the regular season, 33-year-old James Harden should probably be playing 29 minutes, 28 minutes. So there's my take on James Harden. Now here's my take on Joel Embiid. Again, a good box score. You're going to look at it and say, well, he had 30 points and 10 rebounds on 10 of 17 from the floor. He had 2 assists. To even drop 30 was impressive because he had 5 fouls in the game. He caught 2 fouls quick in the first quarter. Had to sit out most of the rest of the first quarter. Came in the second. I think he had 3 fouls at the end of the first half. So he missed most of the third quarter. So for Joel to even have 30 points in his game was, impressive, I guess you could say. But the box score, same as James Harden. It looks good. But what happened on the court wasn't good. The third quarter, we got annihilated. And the third quarter was annoying to me. Because, and this isn't necessarily on Joel Embiid, but once again, in crunch time, when it matters the most, when the other team's using strategy against you, when the other team's running zone defenses, when the other team's using strategy to try to take your best scorer out of the game, what do we do to counter it? We do absolutely nothing. Nothing. There was no strategy in the third quarter whatsoever. All we were doing was forcing Joel Embiid the ball, waiting for the double team to come, and then hoping that somebody could make some kind of magic out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's Doc Rivers' plan. That's his strategy. That's his pecking order. Just give the ball to Joel, and hopefully for 82 games in the regular season, hopefully for 60 of them, Joel Embiid puts on a Superman cape in the fourth quarter and just makes things up off the top of his head and leads us to victory. There is no game plan. There is no strategy. The strategy cannot just be give Joel Embiid the ball and hope it all works out. That's been our strategy for 8 years with Joel Embiid on the roster. Teams adjust. We have to adjust. We have to counter adjust. There's definitely no counter adjusting. We actually have the most least likely to adjust coach in NBA history. So there you go with that. Also, should we even look at PJ Tucker's stat line? Don't look at PJ Tucker's stat line if there's sharp objects within reach, because you're going to stab yourself in the eyeballs. 21 minutes, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 0 for 1 from 3. Bro, like it's insane at this point. It is insane at this point.
Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.